Today, we're diving into a really powerful piece of work called Lost Spring: Stories of Stolen Childhood. It's all about, well, exactly what the title says: childhoods that are just snatched away by poverty and tradition. We're going to explore Anise Jung's incredible writing that gives a voice to kids who are stuck in a cycle they never, ever asked for.
Just listen to this line. Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. I mean, wow. That one sentence, spoken by a little boy named Saheb, it tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it? It plunges you right into a world where survival and even a little bit of hope are literally found in the trash.
So what Anise Jung does in this book is it's this incredible analysis of how two powerful forces, grinding, relentless poverty, and these really deep-rooted traditions, come together to basically condemn children to a life of exploitation. It's like their childhoods are stolen from them before they even get a chance to live them.
And she doesn't just talk about it from a distance. No, her work takes us right into the thick of it, into the daily lives of these kids. It's like a window into a reality where every single day is all about one thing: survival. We're not talking about thriving here or having big dreams. We're talking about just making it to the next day. And the way the book shows us the real human cost of all this is through these incredibly personal stories. So let's start with the first one. It's about a young boy named Saheb. Okay, so get this. His full name is Saheb Alam, and the meaning of that name is it's epic. It means Lord of the Universe. Seriously. Now, you're going to want to hold on to that piece of information because the contrast between his name and his actual life, it's absolutely staggering. So, this Lord of the Universe, what does he actually do? He spends his days walking barefoot, scrounging through massive garbage dumps on the edge of Delhi. And you have to understand, this isn't just some part-time job for him. It's his entire world. You know, the book points out something really fascinating here. For the grown-ups, the garbage is just, well, it's a living. It's their means of survival. But for the kids, for children like Saheb, it's something else entirely. For them, it's wrapped in wonder. It's like a daily treasure hunt. Imagine the pure joy, the little spark of hope you'd feel finding a single rupee coin and all that.
And all of this is happening in a place called Simapuri. The author has this great line where she says it's on the periphery of Delhi, but miles away from it, metaphorically. And that's so true. We're talking about a squatter settlement, home to about 10,000 rag pickers living in these structures made of mud and tin. There's no sewage, no drainage, no running water. In a place like that, survival is king. As the book says, food is way more important than having an identity. So then, something changes for Saheb. He gets what, on the surface, looks like a real step up. He lands a job at a tea stall. He's paid 800 rupees, and he gets all his meals. I mean, that sounds pretty good, right? It sounds like progress, a ticket out of the garbage dumps.
But, and this is a huge but, there's a devastating trade-off. The author notices that Saheb has lost the carefree look. Think about it. That light plastic bag he used to carry around, that was his. He was his own boss, roaming free. This new heavy steel canister, well, that belongs to the guy who owns the shop. So yeah, he has a wage now, but Saheb is no longer his own master. And just like that, his childhood freedom, it's officially gone. All right, let's shift gears now and turn to our second story. Here, we meet another boy. His name is Mutesh, and he lives in a world that's completely different from Saheb's, but in its own way, just as oppressive. Now Mukesh, he's different. He has a dream, and he isn't shy about it. He actually looks the author straight in the eye and says, "I will be a motor mechanic. I will learn to drive a car." I mean, that's not just some fuzzy wish. That is a bold declaration of defiance against everything around him. But the author calls his dream a mirage. And why? Well, it's because of where he lives. He's from Firozabad, which is basically the center of India's entire glass-blowing industry, famous for its bangles. And in Firozabad, for generation after generation, you're pretty much born into one trade, and one trade only, making bangles. And that brings us to this absolutely gut-wrenching number, 20,000. That's how many children are estimated to be working illegally in the glass furnaces of Firozabad. 20,000 kids, just like Mukesh.
And the work, I mean, it's just brutal. They're stuck in these dingy, dark little rooms with no air, right next to blazing hot furnaces. A lot of them lose their eyesight before they even become adults from all the dust from polishing the glass. The author calls it mind-numbing toil, and she says it's basically designed to just crush any initiative, to kill the ability to even dream of something different.
So you might be asking, why don't they just leave? Why don't they do something else? Well, this quote from Mukesh's own grandmother really gets to the heart of it. She says, it is his karam, his destiny. They believe it's their fate. Since they were born into the caste of bangle makers, it's seen as this God-given lineage. And to try and break that, it feels not just impossible, but almost like a sin.
So you see, it's not just one thing that's keeping them stuck. We really have to look at the bigger picture, at the systemic forces that work together to create this totally inescapable trap.
The author breaks it down into two worlds that are basically conspiring against these kids. First, there's the world of the family. They're caught in this web of poverty, and they're carrying the burden of their caste stigma. But then there's this other world, a really vicious circle of sahukars and middlemen, policemen, bureaucrats, and politicians. All of these people benefit from keeping things exactly as they are. It's a system designed to trap them in debt, while officials are paid to look the other way.
And that's the combined weight of it all. Together, these two worlds pile this heavy, heavy baggage onto a child that they simply cannot put down. They just learn to accept their fate, to see it as normal, just like their fathers did. Because to try to do anything else, well, that would mean daring to be different.
But that little spark of daring, it's not completely gone. And that brings us right back to Mukesh.
So when the author mentions to him, hey, the garage where you could learn this stuff is a really long way from your home, Mukesh's response is so simple but so powerful. He just insists, I will walk. Think about that. In a world that is basically designed to crush a dream like his, that simple statement, I will walk, is an act of incredible audacity.
And that really leaves us with this final, lingering question. For kids like Saheb and Mukesh, when your entire world is screaming at you to just keep your head down, to stay silent in order to survive, what does it actually take to dare? To dare to even want something more?